One day, Jason Tondro spotted Socrates standing outside the entrance to GaryCon. So Jason approached Socrates and excitedly proclaimed, "I have to tell you something about Gary Gygax who—" "Hold up," Socrates interrupts him. "This story you're about to tell me, did you put it through the 3 sieves?" But Jason Tondro was not familiar with the 3 sieves, so Socrates continued. "The first is the sieve of truth. Are you absolutely certain what you're going to tell me about Gary is objectively true?" No," replied Jason. "I've never actually spoken to him, his family, or anyone that worked with him. I based my assumption on a few online posts by Mr. Gygax and some passages in a couple of D&D books." "Okay," Socrates continued, "then what about the sieve of goodness? Will you tell me something good or positive about Mr. Gygax?" Jason Tondro responded by shaking his head. "No, actually, I've interpreted my cherry-picked evidence in the most negative way imaginable. I've even ignored the vast number of other books and writings authored by Mr. Gygax that might contradict my negative assumptions." Clearly disappointed in Jason Tondro's responses, Socrates then asked, "Well, what about the last sieve? Is it really necessary to tell me your opinion about Mr. Gygax?" Because Jason Tondro possessed no apparent shame, he did not respond and only looked blankly back at Socrates. Socrates politely smiled and replied, "Jason, since the story you wish to tell me is neither true, good, or necessary, just forget it and don't bother me with it." Unfortunately, Jason Tondro ignored the wisdom of Socrates and decided to publish his opinions anyway. In fact, he compounded his errors by not even practicing good journalistic standards. When Jason Tondro published his opinions, he presented them as facts, rather than indicating they were simply his narrow, unproven opinions. And to this day, Jason Tondro whines on social media that people treat him unfairly, indicating that such negativity is bad for his mental health, unaware that he created this situation by causing emotional distress to others with his lack of journalistic integrity. The story of Socrates and the 3 sieves reminds us of the importance of critical thinking and discernment. Socrates believed that people should be careful about what they say. They should only speak when they have something true, good, and useful. These lessons are still taught in philosophy and ethics classes as a way of encouraging people to think critically about the information they receive and the things they say. Furthermore, the Society of Professional Journalists makes available their SPJ Code of Ethics, and anyone reportedly acting in any journalistic capacity should be sure to follow those guidelines, or they are simply perpetuating a cycle of fabrication and repeating gossip that is harmful to everyone involved. It is always better to focus on up-talking others, concentrating on their strengths, and uniting our communities than seeking to cause distress. And I certainly hope that this is a teaching moment for others, such as Jason Tondro.